Welcome to On the Hill.
Presented by StAlbertSportsFan.com.
Can't nobody get up in my car today. Backseat feeling like a charter plane. Bumping so the shocker.
Today is February 7th, 2023. Welcome to On the Hill.
Brought to you by StAlbertSportsFan.com. I'm Chad Hannon.
Jesse Shea.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode. A lot ahead. So we'll have our customary look back and look forward. But at the end of the podcast, we have a lengthy interview with the bowling team, it was a lot of fun. Some really funny kids.
One of the most successful programs going at St. Albert right now. I mean, it's pretty impressive. You guys will get a chance to hear all their accomplishments, but we're looking forward to putting this one out.
So as you said in the pilot episode, or our pilot episode, It's like sitting down with your best friend talking about what's been going on, what's ahead. So let's talk a little bit about what's been going on. So girls basketball has hit a bit of a rough stretch. Since the last time we talked, maybe we are the bad luck charm for those ladies.
I don't think so. I think looking at the schedule before the season, they probably anticipated this being a tougher stretch. But yeah,
they've gone 0 for 4 since the last time that we all sat down together. Tough loss on the road to Atlantic, 48-35, and then the last game that you and I will call of the basketball season, which was a heartbreaker at home against Abraham Lincoln. Double overtime loss, 59-56. Saints played hard, played really good defense. Just a great shot by Presley Gears of AL to put the dagger in for the Saints.
Is she the one that hit the one to force overtime as well?
I kind of blacked that part out of my mind, if I could be honest with you.
They hit a couple big shots, one to force, and then obviously the one to win at the end. But yeah,
didn't get any easier from there. Jenna Hopp, as we have come to realize, is the real deal. Saints went on the road to Glenwood late last week, lost 49-45. I thought they fought back really hard in that game, and they were in it. Jenna Hopp turned in, I think it was close to a triple-double, if it wasn't. She's impressive. Saints played hard, though. I really liked what I saw, and they shot, we've talked about it in the first podcast and all of our broadcasts. Free throw shooting can be tough at times. The Saints have really turned the corner on that, which is very encouraging.
Well, despite the loss, I think those Glenwood fans, those Glenwood players walk away from that saying those Saints are for real. Like that, it's not a typical team for a school the size of St. Albert, is what I think they're probably saying on the way out the gym that night.
Yeah, if you're familiar with the saying "iron sharpens iron," it's a big one in the Iowa football program. Former strength and conditioning coach Chris Doyle used to preach that all the time. That's all that this schedule is. I think Atlantic possibly is a state qualifying team. Glenwood, same boat. Trainer was really impressive. They shot the lights out. Oh, my
goodness.
On Saturday.
That girl in the corner?
Yeah. Yeah, they hit a lot of perimeter corner threes. Trainer ends up coming out on top, 70-63. Great game by Missy Evasek. She had over 20. The Saints, the funny part is and her name escapes me, Trainer as a player, she's super impressive. Number 20.
Yeah.
She's playing at South Dakota State. Lily Crone played a lot of she face guarded her a lot. Molly Wise played really good defense. So did Ellie Monahan on that girl specifically. They really kind of kept her a little bit in check. I think she still finished with like 14, 15. I think you'd give that up any day.
Yeah.
What we didn't anticipate happening, I don't think, was Trainer shooting the lights out from their other guards that both finished with above 20 points.
Every time the Saints would make a run, they'd come down and hit a three. It was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, going back to their defensive effort on number 20, I don't remember her name either, but I think playing Glenwood earlier in the week, playing Hop, gave them a chance. They did really good against Trainer. I think playing Hop earlier in the week helped them out there.
And I still believe in our ladies. They've got just a tremendous team, and we'll get into a little bit of what their postseason is going to look like here in a minute. Shifting to boys basketball, they've had some challenges in the past couple of weeks as well. They lost to Atlantic 68-50, then hosted Underwood at St. Albert and dropped a tough one 74-46. Went on the road to Glenwood. It was a girl-boy doubleheader there. Dropped a 74-58.
They fought like heck in that one. I was happy to see the effort there in Glenwood.
And then hosted Trainer last Saturday. That was a pretty tough one. 66-32. Trainer won. And unfortunately for the Falcons, it doesn't get any easier. They're gonna play West Harrison tonight, and that's 1A number 5 West Harrison in the regular season finale. And by all accounts, it's not one of those Western Iowa Fool's Gold deals with Western Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
By all accounts, they're a pretty legitimate team.
Did they change their name to Western Harrison?
West Harrison.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you. That was a mistake on my behalf.
You can't get anything past me.
I can't. Wrestling is really hitting their stride as they get towards the postseason here. They hosted Atlantic, Southwest Iowa, and Shenandoah. Southwest Iowa is just one of those consortium of local schools that just had to pull together their resources a little bit. David Helton came out of that quadrangular with a 3-0 record.
I love that name. I love that name.
Andrew Crawley had a 2-1 record on the night, and Falcons also picked up wins from Zach Williams and Rajay Feder. They then went to the Hawk 10 tournament, where John Helton was third at 138. Freshman Sam Raymond was fifth at 145. David Helton finished second at 152. Andrew Crawley, 8th at 160. And what is kind of a surprise, Tony Bush, who went out for wrestling in the middle or after the season began. It wasn't the middle of the season.
Well, he was on the basketball team for a bit.
Yeah,
right?
and so obviously he's joined the wrestling team. He finished 7th at 182, and he's a big, strong kid. So props to you, Tony. I do believe that wrestling is one of the most physically and mentally challenging things that people can do. So credit for the effort, and well done. Now for the bowling team, and we're just going to briefly recap what their 2 weeks looked like because we do spend over an hour talking about bowling here at the end of this episode. But we have to start with the fact that both the boys and the girls for the very first time are city champions. They won the city championship a week ago Friday. The boys individuals, Jackson Wigington finished second, Adam Denny third, Evan White fourth, Cole Pekny 11th, Bo Sweet 13th, and Will Tallman 15th. Individually for the girls, Bailey Secrest 4th, followed by Lexi Narmi at 5th, Sophie Sheffield at 6th, Georgie Bonet 9th, Liv Gardner at 10th, and Madeline Junt at 13th. That was a mouthful. So that was actually the first, and you'll hear me talk about it a little bit in the interview. That was the first broadcast I've ever watched a bowling event.
Yeah.
It's a trip.
We get it. I don't want to spoil the interview too much, but
it makes me laugh just thinking about it. Honestly,
the atmosphere. I want to go to one in person. I want to get to one of these. I know they're always during the day, which is really probably the reason why they don't get as much fanfare. But being as successful as they are,
and so I probably haven't told you this, but I did promise Lexi that we would broadcast a bowling meet next year.
Okay. Done.
So we have to study up. All right. Outside of the city tournament, the Falcons and the Saints both went on the road to beat Red Oak shortly thereafter. And then last Friday, the boys won the AL Bakers Bash tournament by 1 pin. So they went into the final frame needing 247 pins to win. And that's exactly what they got. So it's pretty cool. Ladies got second, I believe, in that. So again, these bowlers, they're a lot of fun. They're in action tonight, Tuesday, February 7th, in a triangular at Thunderbowl against Lewis Central in Harlan.
Also known as
St. Albert Lanes.
St. Albert
Yeah,
Lanes.
Jesse and I have renamed it to St. Albert Lanes, as you'll hear shortly.
Until someone knocks us off our pedestal as the city champs. Right?
Yeah, I don't foresee that happening anytime soon, the way that these two teams are rolling. Rolling into robotics, which is something, admittedly, I don't know a lot about, but I've started following them a little bit on social media. Last weekend, they had a competition over in Omaha. They won, and they qualified for the state tournament, which is actually March 3rd in Coralville. It's their third time making it to state in school history. They won the super qualifier, which to my uneducated mind is first place. But then they also, I think equally as cool, they won the Motivate Award for their spirit and camaraderie as a team. And
That's
so
awesome.
props to those young people. And I think it just goes to show that St. Albert is not just about sports. It's about activities. And there's something for everybody. And so super impressed with the work that the robotics team does. Speaking of activities, the speech team, as we mentioned last time, had made it to state. And unfortunately,
Was it districts?
they won their district at TJ.
Okay.
And so, unfortunately, this past weekend in Waukee, they all went up to Waukee to the tournament, and then they got some unfortunate news that because of a new rule that was put into place that states that non-students are not allowed in their video submission.
Such as parents. I
Yes.
believe that was the.
I think that was the explanation that we got.
Mhm.
That you would be disqualified. And so, really unfortunate. Surprisingly, that wasn't caught during the district tournament. And I think if it had, I think the team could have corrected it. So they did end up getting judged is really how that all works. But it was kind of shared with us privately that had it been judged, they received a lot of positive feedback about their submission. They likely could have received all ones. So, learning experience, we will move on. We'll get better, not bitter, as they say. And, next year we'll look towards a four-peat because this was the third year in a row that this group had qualified for state. Most of them are juniors, so hopefully next year they'll go for the four-peat, and they'll bring home a title next year with lessons learned.
There we go. Let's go.
So last thing to recap was the open house. I don't know if you attended, Jesse. I know my family did.
I didn't. I did not.
And we did primarily for the sixth grade orientation piece. Saw a lot of new faces. It was exciting to see. It was really fresh on the heels of the law being passed about education savings accounts. And so a lot of new faces, a lot of great questions from prospective families.
Yeah, good energy, good vibes in there.
Great energy, always good vibes up at St. Albert. I think it would be a mistake if we didn't acknowledge the hard work of the school and their team to put it all together. So Sarah Dew, Jonathan Quigley, Carrie Ashley, the president, Ann Rawling, all of their staff. They let's not forget they taught all day. They were there until 7+ p.m. at night. All of the coaches were there well into the night as well. And so it would be a mistake if we didn't at least give them a heartfelt thank you for being so generous with their time. And that's really what makes St. Albert great. So hopefully there's a couple more open houses to come for prospective families as this ESA situation gets sorted out. I know that's something that I'm pushing the enrollment committee on, and we'll see what happens.
All day, all you do is talk. Do you ever stop?
No, I don't. Never. I talk in my sleep.
It's partly my fault for just letting you go and go and go.
It's all right.
But
I got a drink of this. If you haven't tried this Spindrift cranberry raspberry water, it's so good. Like I went to Sam's, about 3 cases of
are
it.
you getting paid for this?
I
This
should.
little ad?
I should, but
no
you know
free,
what?
No free ads.
That's a free ad. If Spindrift somehow gets a hold of this and likes that shout out, please send a couple of cases of this cranberry raspberry water to my place, and we'll be good. No, we are always looking for sponsors at StAlbertSportsFan.com. We've got the best sponsors ever, always looking to add to the stable. If you have questions, contact Jesse, myself, Joe Narmi as well. It's $300 for a year. Starts at the beginning of the school year. So if we need to work out a prorated deal, I don't even know if that's a thing or not, but we'll talk.
I don't think Joe will say no to someone trying to write him a check, will he?
I don't know. I doubt he has before. I don't see why he'd start now. So what's ahead?
Yeah, let's talk about what's ahead.
Things get real in the coming weeks for our young men and women at St. Albert. Boys basketball.
Yeah, all these winter sports are
They're wrapping up.
coming to the important part of the season.
Yep. And so boys basketball, after their game tonight against West Harrison, they're off until the 13th of February. So that's almost a full week. It's 6 days. Their regional assignments have not been released yet. Stay tuned to stalbertsportsfan.com and all of the different social media channels for more information of when it does become available. I think 6 days off will be good for these boys. Recharge the muscles a little bit, take a little break, and then let's see what kind of run they can put together here in the postseason.
Yeah.
Wrestling, their postseason is a little bit more imminent. So unlike years past where there was a sectional tournament and then a district tournament the week after, sectionals are no longer a thing. And honestly, I think it was that way for maybe ever. It's all that I remember when it came to wrestling. So how it'll work is the same way it's always worked in the largest class in Iowa. So you just have one district tournament. It's 8 to 10 teams per tournament. The top 2 at every weight go to state.
Okay.
And it's a short turnaround. State tournament is next week. It starts on February 15th, and it runs all the way through Saturday the 18th. And if you haven't watched the state finals in Iowa, it's usually either streaming or on IPTV. It is electric. I'll clear my schedule out so that I don't miss it. It gets real weird in my living room. It's a lot of jumping around, going crazy. It's like the one day a year my kids are interested in wrestling. So I'm pretty amped up about it. And with that, I think it'll be really exciting. Later this week, we're going to have an interview with the Lear brothers.
I'm looking forward to that.
I've never talked to those guys.
Yeah, I had a short conversation up at the Glenwood basketball game last week, which kind of set this off and got the interview going. So I'm looking forward to talking to them, part of the reason we're doing this is to give a little exposure to, some of the sports that don't get as much of the limelight. So
Sure.
Looking forward to that.
The stuff that we don't broadcast pretty much is what you're saying.
Yeah.
We would also love to get interviews with the boys and girls basketball teams, if possible. Schedules are kind of complicated as we go into the postseason, so we can't promise you that that's going to happen. We've got a couple of feelers out there, and we'll see what we can do for you on that. Girls basketball, we do have their regional assignment, and I think they just got a phenomenal draw. I'm super excited for them. They have the first round off as the top seed in their region, and then they're going to play the winner of Lennox and Diagonal.
Not to be confused with, I don't know. I was trying to think of some like a synonym for diagonal. That's the name
like
of a school.
Parallel.
That's the name of a school.
It's not just a school; it's a town.
Hmm.
It's a legitimate town somewhere in southern Iowa.
Huh.
We were prepping for this, and I think Jesse thought that was like a typo in the Word doc. No, Diagonal's a real place.
Diagonal, Iowa?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a thing.
I'll take your
We're
word
gonna
for
power through this.
Take your word for it.
I'm rooting for them to win because that'll give us something to talk about.
For sure. Yeah.
So that Valentine's Day, take your love, bring them up to St. Albert, 7 p.m. Saints will play either Lennox or Diagonal.
Get buy your wife one of those super nachos. Be a perfect Valentine's Day night.
Nothing says I love you like super nachos.
Oh yeah. Hold the olives.
No way.
Ugh.
Extra olives.
Oh, real quick. Excuse me. Did you try a little cinnamon on your
No, I didn't.
pancakes?
I didn't
What
make it
the
up
heck?
to the Pancake Man.
Oh my gosh.
So my parents, my dad is. I think you can qualify him as retired now. I think he still works like 2 hours a day.
hmm
But so his schedule is much more flexible, which means he gets to do all these fun things with the kids. So him and my stepmom went up to school both days with the kids. My mother-in-law also went. And so the opportunity, I didn't want to like pile it on with the Pancake Man, and thanks to Mike Hoy
Yeah, Mike
and his
Jill.
wife Jill
Mhm.
for sponsoring the Pancake Man. Super cool. If you see them, please thank them for that. That's just, I know my kids went crazy for it. I don't know about yours.
Well, I did. I did.
How was the cinnamon?
It was good. I mean,
Yeah.
classic. So, I mean, my in-laws and my parents went up there too, but I'm not missing a chance to get some pancakes. So I went up on Wednesday, and it was Jet didn't eat his pancakes that day, so I ate his pancakes, and that's that.
So I haven't tried it. I will. I promise you I will. So let's pack the gym. We just went in a full circle there, but let's pack the gym on Valentine's Day for the Saints, and they deserve it. They've played their hearts out this year, and if they win against Lennox or Diagonal, I would say it's likely that they'll play an East Mills team. That they're a good team. That game would also be at home on February 17th. And you survive that, and then they've got another home draw. And then at the regional final, not to look too far ahead, looks like it could be St. Albert and Martinsdale St. Mary's. So again, I think it's a fantastic draw for the Saints, and it doesn't happen by accident. And that's what I
Right.
really like about how this is done. It's merit based. They've fought their butts off all year. They've played hard. They've done well. They've put the time in, and they got a great draw because of their efforts.
Yeah, pretty straightforward path to the finals, right?
I
Unless
think
we
so.
play diagonal, right? It wouldn't be so. Okay.
I can't even take you serious.
All right.
Right? Oh, that's good. That might be our best content so far.
There we go.
We need to start researching about Diagonal today.
I will. Well, if we play them, I'll have some stuff.
Your research, just so everyone knows, Jesse's exhaustive research is just going to the Wikipedia page and copying and
No,
pasting it.
it's GPT.
Oh, great. Now we got the robots writing the intros.
Yeah. Thanks, AI, for all my research.
So we'll wrap up this preview with the bowling team. And so, like I said, we've got the interview coming right after this with the bowling team. And this Friday, the 10th, they're playing in the Hawk 10 tournament. That's at Thunder Bowl, also St. Albert Lanes. Then next Monday, the girls, Monday morning, their state qualifier is at Thunder Bowl.
The 13th.
The 13th. Not Friday, Tuesday the 14th. So that 13th, 14th is very packed, as I'll remind you. The 13th, boys regionals begin. Girls bowling state qualifiers there. 14th, girls regional begins, and boys state qualifier for bowling is that morning on the 14th. So we were able to sit down with Mike Klusman and Justin Pekny. They're the coaches of the bowling team, as well as Adam Denny and Cole Pekny from the boys team, and Bailey Secrest and Lexi Narmi from the girls team, for kind of a funny back and forth. It is a little bit long. We don't apologize for that, though. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, we try to cut it short. I mean, we didn't try to cut it short. We tried to make it as efficient as possible, but these kids they had a lot to say. They had a lot of accomplishments to talk about, and I think you'll really enjoy it. I really like talking to the coaches, hearing their passion and their, it got me revved up, ready to go.
Mike and Justin, I thought, were really interesting in this, just to hear their perspective.
The story, how they became the coaches. You'll hear it.
It's a lot of
good.
fun.
Real quick
yeah,
before
go
we
ahead.
we didn't get to get into this during the interview, but do you have any favorite bowlers?
I'll defer to you. You go ahead, because I know where you're leading this, and I promised myself I was not going to go down the path to talk about Woody Harrelson.
Well, I mean, mine's favorite is Ernie McCracken.
we really weighed bringing that up to the kids or not, and we questioned whether or not that was appropriate. And I wasn't really willing to risk an angry call from a parent, so we did not bring up
Kingpin. It's
Kingpin.
classic.
It is somewhat of a classic movie.
Hold on. Bowling movies. Kingpin or The Big Lebowski?
The Big Lebowski.
Is The Big Lebowski, is that a bowling movie?
Sure. It's as much of a bowling movie as Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Okay.
As Die Hard is the greatest Christmas movie
All right.
behind It's a Wonderful Life.
So you're going with Big Lebowski over Kingpin?
Yeah.
Really?
I think there are
I think you need to rewatch Kingpin.
There are a lot of life lessons to learn about during the Big Lebowski.
Roy Munson? Come on.
All right, I'm putting this back on the rails. That's what the host does. So the boys team actually hasn't lost since last year's state tournament. And you can hear kind of the raw emotion in Adam Denny's voice when he talks about last year's state tournament. They're on a roll. That is a pun intended.
Ooh, I like that.
The boys are heavily favored in the Hawk 10. I think girls from a team side are as well. Boys and girls both have multiple state-ranked bowlers. And so we talk a little bit about expectation management and how they can handle that pressure. And I'm very confident that by the time we talk next, that they'll have done well in both of those outings, and it'll be really exciting to see how they perform.
Have another banner to hang up in the gym.
I think so. So before we get into the interview, we'd be doing a disservice if we did not thank former St. Albert teacher and coach Ken Messling for keeping the bowling program alive. It was just a club team until it was certified by the boys and girls unions, and I think it was 2010. And Mr. Messling really kept it alive, kept it viable. The girls' Bowler of the Year trophy is actually named in his honor, and you'll hear Mike Klusman talk about that a little bit. Also, thank you, Dean and Connie Ratliff, former owners of Thunder Bowl. They were always so accommodating to the school and our teams to make sure they always had great opportunity and availability to the alley to practice. Teams of collaboration between a lot of different schools, St. Albert as well as Heartland Christian and Missouri Valley. So it's impressive to see how these kids, they work together to make each other better, and they genuinely, you can hear it, they genuinely enjoy each other's company.
It sounds like a great time.
Yeah. My regret is we didn't really have anything like this when we went to school there. Not like it would have changed anything, but I'm really envious of what they're putting together here. And it's a little too early to say it's a dynasty, but they've got something really interesting cooking up there. And Mike and Justin are really doing a nice job with these kids. So with that, we hope you enjoy our interview. And again, we'll talk to you soon. For Jesse Shea, I'm Chad Hannon. Thanks for listening to On the Hill, brought to you by StAlbertSportsFan.com. Thanks for joining us. In tonight's interview, we have members of the bowling team. We're joined by coaches Mike Klusman and Justin Pekny, as well as Adam Denny and Bailey Secrest and Lexi Narmi. We're going to start out with Coach Klusman and Coach Pekny. First of all, thanks for being the first guest on our podcast.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So a little bit about, we'll start with you guys. How did you come to be involved with St. Albert, and how did you find yourself as the coaches of the bowling team?
So that's a great story all on its own. I was asked by Ken Schreiber to come into his office, and
Oh, I've been there. This is Jesse, by the way. I don't think Chad said that I was on there, but I've had that walk into Mr. Schreiber's office.
I have too. It's
about
not
25 years ago.
It's not a good moment. So it obviously worked out better for you than it did for me and Jesse. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it really did. It really didn't, because I was coaching baseball at the time, and I thought, oh my God, what did I do wrong? And so I walk into his office, and I'm kind of petrified, and I'm like, hey, Ken. And he's like, so I heard you're a good bowler. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, I was wondering if you would shadow Ken Meshling. God bless Ken Meshling. He has kept that St. Albert bowling program going together so that we can do what we're doing today. And if it wasn't for him, there'd be no St. Albert bowling program. So
Yeah, can we stop there real quick? Can you shine any light on the history of the bowling team real quick? Since you brought it up, that was something we were going to bring up.
I really can't. All I know is that it's a new sport in Iowa. I think 2010 is when it got sanctioned, and Ken has kept it going forever. And we named our girls bowler of the year trophy after Ken Meshling.
That's
And I
awesome.
was like, I went to Ken Meshling and I said, hey, let's not do this after somebody passes. Let's do it while he's still here, while he can enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it was a great moment. So at that point, when I went to Ken's office and he was like, you want to shadow Ken Meshling to be the bowling coach, I was like, okay, how did you know? Well, my sister bowls with you on a Thursday league and says you're a pretty good bowler, and so the rest is kind of history, obviously, and just getting the opportunity to coach these kids is amazing. To say how Justin became part of the coaching staff was even better. We're bowling at the fundraiser, and I'm watching Justin bowl, and he's beating me, and I'm like, dude, you're pretty good. Why don't you come help me coach bowling? And he's like, no, 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 I ain't got time. I ain't got time. Well, thank God for COVID, because of COVID, Justin got to come on the staff, and with his expertise and what I have to offer, and with what Ken did, we were able to just build a program that we just compete day in and day out, and ultimately it's the kids and kids' parents. I mean, we direct them in the right way, get them in a good mindset, and it's actually pretty amazing to watch. I'm blessed, man. What can I say?
And how many years have you been doing it?
This is my third year as a head coach. I was 1 year assistant under Ken Meshling.
Okay. And Justin, is this your
Second year.
Second year?
Uh, no, this would be my third, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Third year, yep.
And
Yeah.
and I think that might be like one of the first times that anyone's been like, thank God for COVID. So no, we're really fortunate. You guys have really got this team whipped into shape. Um, I want to take a step back a little bit and just kind of hear. Well, I guess Justin, we'll start with you. How did you and your family come to? How did you get involved at St. Albert? And your family's got kind of an interesting engagement with St. Albert and the different activities and things like that. So I'm really fascinated to hear how you guys became involved at St. Albert.
Yeah, so I'm actually a graduate. I graduated in the class of 1992, and so I think I came to St. Albert. I think in the seventh grade. Then obviously graduated. So I was I know Joe, Joe Narmi. I was kind of in his. I think he graduated from prep, but we were ran in the same circles. So it was pretty interesting. And so, then I went off to college and then got a job and was in Texas for a while. Then we had kids and then moved back. And then we were at Glenwood for a while and then ended up coming back to St. Albert. So, I had Reese, who had just graduated last year. Then obviously Cole is a junior this year.
And
Um,
and a little bit about your kids, Reese and Cole, because I think that's not. I think their activities are very interesting to me because it's something that maybe we're not as accustomed to hearing about at St. Albert.
Yeah, so Reese was really involved in horses and the Palomino organization. So he did a lot riding kind of throughout his growing up years. So he did a lot with the Palomino organization, which was pretty interesting. Um, so yeah.
That's cool.
Really cool.
The alumni bowling thing is always one of my favorite. I'm happy to hear that that's how this marriage started because the alumni bowling night is always one of my favorite nights of the year. It's by far my favorite fundraiser for the auction. So
I was so mad that he beat me because I'm like ultra competitive, and
yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
nine
oh
pin
my
no
God.
tap too, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. Like, so you get a huge break, and I'm
Yeah.
like, he's beating me. I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? And then I saw a skill set. I'm like, oh my God, we could use you. We really could use you. We got some kids that definitely could use your help.
So me and Chad usually we'll do the alumni bowl. We'll have our wives and we'll have our group. And Chad could probably use some pointers, Justin. Me being a pretty natural bowler. I'm not to toot my own horn, but I'm interested to hear like what's involved in like in coaching, because I mean I've tried with Chad and he just rolls that straight ball right in the gutter about a third of the way down. So yeah, I'm interested to hear what coaching what that looks like.
Justin, you got that?
Yeah.
That's a hard-hitting question coming from me.
We should have started our first interview with the sport that I wasn't absolutely horrendous at, but that's all right. It's too late to turn back now.
So this is a funny thing. So Mike and I grew up bowling. Obviously, we're one-handed bowlers, right? You use one hand.
Mm-hmm.
And
two fingers,
two fingers and a thumb, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of funny. So when we first started, I've always kind of seen some of those guys on the PBA there, and it's kind of a new kind of skill set. There's some guys now that are bowling, two-handed, right? So it's just basically two fingers and a ball and no thumb, and they spin it. Well, most of our boys most of them are two-handed, and it's just really kind of interesting to try to coach that, because it's something that Mike and I don't do. So that's been kind of sometimes frustrating and definitely interesting for sure. So I don't know, Mike, if you want to expand on that a little bit, but.
Oh my God. So like Justin said, it's so funny. So I show up and I'm going to be the coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then half these kids, almost all of the kids, are two-handed bowling. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm like, I don't know what this is.
Mm-hmm.
So I went on the internet, thank God for Google, and I Googled, literally, this is no joke, I literally Googled the best two-handed bowler in the world, and it was Belmonte. So I start watching every single video I can about this guy to figure out how the hell I'm going to coach this, because I'm like, I'm a conventional bowler, Justin a conventional bowler. What are we going to do here? And anyways, after all that, basically fundamentals break down to the same thing.
It's like feet placement and all that stuff, target line and all that.
Balance, target line, reading the oil pattern. What a lot of people don't realize is how difficult a bowling alley can make it with the oil pattern. So when you have to read oil patterns and people are like, well, I can't bowl good today. Why am I not bowling good today? Well, because you can't read the oil.
And the oil pattern changes throughout a tournament too, right? Depending on the volume.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It breaks down depending on what type of ball people are using. It'll push the oil to the outside. So you got to constantly be reacting to what your ball is doing. And our kids do a phenomenal job of that. And I mean, if you could break to the kids, because they're the reason why we're so successful. They bought in. They work hard. They practice. They want to be champions. And so hopefully at the end of this, what Justin and I have done is just created an environment where kids can succeed in a great sport that you can play for a lifetime.
That's awesome. Chad, do you want to start with go over to the kids?
Yeah, I think let's jump over to Adam Denny, and Cole Pekny is going to join us as well, because I'm actually really interested in the prep work that goes into this, and I I know it can be uncomfortable at times, but I really kind of want to talk about their accomplishments too.
Yeah.
You mean state champion Adam Denny?
Well, I was actually, my first question was, how would you like to be addressed?
Oh, geez. Adam is fine.
Sir Champion, why don't you start with us? You won and again, I'm still learning. I guess I should have started with, I watched my first bowling meet last week when it was on the St. Albert Sports Fan YouTube channel. I had never really been a part of it or witnessed it. So very interesting. I understand very little. So Adam, Mr. Champion, can you tell us what it's like to be the first state champion in the city of Council Bluffs history?
Oh, I mean, it's huge. It's an accomplishment, is how I would describe it. I didn't think I was gonna win it at all. We lost the night before in team state bowling, and so going into individuals, I was thinking, you know what, I don't really want to bowl. It's kind of the first day I didn't want to bowl like in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to the alleys, threw a couple shots. First game was fine. Second game was fine. Third game was fine. Next thing you know, you qualify, and then you're bracketed, and then you win. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was an extraordinary experience. I mean,
How many games from beginning to end on that last day?
so there's 3 qualifying games.
Mm-hmm.
There's 32 people in all, and there's 3 qualifying games. You bowl 3 games, and the sum of your 3 games, top 8 scores get bracketed into an 8-person bracket, right?
Where were you bracket?
And
What was your rank out of 32?
I was the 4 seed,
Okay.
and so I faced the 5th seed. I won my first game, 279 to 277.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Which,
Wow. That'd
Yeah,
take
we
Chad
both
at
went
least 3 games. It'd be his whole set.
yeah. So for those who don't know, a 279 means you miss 1 shot, and that 1 shot you roll a 9 instead of a 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
incredible.
I've had a 270 before.
That's
It
just
was it was a gutter ball and then a spare in the 7th frame, and everything else strikes.
so. And
Oh wow,
before you go on, have you ever bowled a perfect game before?
I bowled 3 before actually.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. And
Yeah,
if you don't mind me asking, you're I'm gonna guess you're probably like 18.
I am 17,
17.
18 in March.
Nice. All right. Well, happy early birthday. So you've accomplished like the pinnacle of the sport before you've even turned 18. That's so uncommon.
Yeah, no, I can retire. Really, I can-
Why don't you retire after this state
Do
championship?
a video like
No.
Brady did today. Just go out,
Exactly.
find a beach.
Exactly. Yeah, man. I'm retiring. That's it. I'm out. I've done everything. But the only thing I haven't done is I haven't won a team state event. So that's the ultimate goal right now.
Awesome. And so you guys are off to a really good start this year. Obviously, there's still time left in the season. We were provided today with the up-to-date bowling records. And what's really interesting to me and what I got excited about when we were thinking about this podcast is whether it be last year or this year, you guys have basically set every school record. You hold the high series at a 532. What's a series? How many games is that?
So in a bowling meet, you bowl 2 games. So 2 games goes into a 532 series. I don't know what that averages out to be. Just divide by 2. I can't do the math on the spot. But I actually share that record with my good buddy Evan. Evan, who's missing for work today, I think, or some other worldly experience. I don't know. He wishes he could be with us today. I was chatting with him just before my interview. It's kind of sad they couldn't make it, but we actually share that 532 series record together.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
I'm looking here real quick. I'm just seeing this. The Falcon JV Team Baker record is 299.
Yes, and that surpasses the varsity record of 279, which is
That's
incredible.
crazy.
Bo Sweet was bowling in the 10th frame, and he put up a pretty good shot, but he got 9s.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's crazy. So my St. Albert education tells me 532 divided by 2 is 266. Just for the listeners at home. They teach you that on your very last day of your senior year, in case you were wondering. So still
Were you there
time.
that day?
I think I was there that day.
Yeah, maybe.
So Adam, a little bit about you, aside from bowling, right? It's pretty well documented that you're an accomplished bowler. Talk about a little your St. Albert experience and what else you're involved with at St. Albert.
I do 4 sports. I do bowling, obviously. I do track, cross country, and soccer. I've done all those sports all 4 years of my high school experience, except for track. Track, my freshman year got canceled due to COVID, and my sophomore year I didn't go out for it. My junior year, I went to state in it, and I don't think I'm going to do it this year, sadly, but I could pick up tennis instead. I'm kind of thinking about it as of now. But as for cross country and soccer, I've qualified in soccer for state soccer once and state cross country 4 times.
It's pretty incredible high school experience. What have you enjoyed about your time at St. Albert?
I've enjoyed the friendships. The most what defines St. Albert is that it's a small school, but it's a very big sporting school. And so all sports you do more experiences, you find more friends, you just have a great time. So if anybody were to go out for St. Albert, I'd suggest that you join as many sports as that you're comfortable with because you really meet some good people and make some good memories.
I couldn't agree more.
I was real quick, just hearing the two coaches talk about bowling. I could hear and feel their enthusiasm. It's got to be really cool to play to be coached by guys like that. Like it seems like they really like what they're doing.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great time. I mean, it's especially fun when you win a lot.
Yeah.
Last time we lost was November of 2022 against Clarinda, which no one has won against Clarinda at Clarinda in like 3.5 years, which is an impressive record. So we were unfortunately victim to one of those losses, but all right,
It all worked out in the end.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're doing great. It's fun when you win.
So obviously it's only February, but any idea what's ahead for you after your time at St. Albert?
I'm gonna go to the University of Iowa, and I'm gonna major in business, and I'm gonna major in Spanish. So they'll major in business and Spanish, and I'm gonna join a bowling club there. I'm not gonna join a bowling team anywhere, like for any scholarships, because I really want to go to Iowa, and they don't provide that. So what I'm looking for is to bowl on the bowling club, which my brother's the vice president of. So I'll get to spend some time with him as well.
Is it true
And
his
bowl.
nickname is the Pin Daddy?
Yes, that was something Charlie Narmi created because I don't know, he's kind of like the founder in a way of high school bowling at St. Albert because he was much older than anybody else on the bowling team when it really started to become popular. And so everybody kind of looked up to him as an idol and was like, I want to bowl like that guy because he bowled really well.
Mm-hmm.
And so one time he bowled a high series at a meet, and Charlie Narmi posted on Sandwich Sports Fan and labeled him the Pin Daddy, and it just kind of caught fire.
That's awesome.
Well, that's awesome. So the goal is obviously we want to give you guys as athletes, as students, as just people of the St. Albert community an outlet to say what you want to say and get whatever message out that you want. So if people are a little maybe in the dark about what bowling at St. Albert or just your St. Albert experience in general, something that you want to share, what would that be?
I would say go out for bowling. It's a great experience. When you think of fun outings, you go bowling. That's one of your options.
Sure.
And if you could do it for a sport, like do it every day. If you go bowling every day and have fun every day,
Get out of school to do it. Get out of school to go.
Get out of
bowling?
school early to do it. That sounds like a life. I'd recommend that.
That's what I couldn't believe. It's like all your guys' meets are in the middle of the day, and I was like, do these kids go to school? Like,
No,
I'm jealous of that. I wasn't really in a position to be missing a lot of school back in my day, so.
Yeah.
No, you guys have done an awesome job. It's a lot of excitement to watch. Again, I've only watched one bowling meet, so I can't claim to be an expert. But what I was really blown away by was the enthusiasm and excitement that you guys had, and some of the how would you phrase it? Like a celebration, maybe?
Yeah, like a chance after when we're bowling our bigger games.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I couldn't stop laughing. I was supposed to be working, and I doubt my boss listens to this podcast, so I think we're okay to admit this. But I was supposed to be working, and I kept getting distracted by the celebrations and the chants and all that stuff, and it was really entertaining.
That's awesome. Then that means it's working because that's exactly what it's meant to do.
That's awesome.
Because if we're having fun and we're exhibiting that we're having fun, and the other teams are like, "What's going on?" They lose focus of their own game. They watch our scores, and we're bowling phenomenally, and they're not, and that's when we've won already.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. No, that's really cool. Adam, thank you so much. It's been really fun to catch up with you, and best of luck the rest of the season. We're rooting for you.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna slide over to Cole Pekny. Cole's sliding in. A late addition to the interview, and so Cole, first of all, thank you very much for being flexible. I hope you have all your homework done for the day.
Yeah, how I do.
All right,
Thanks for
good.
having me.
Well, I know your dad's right there, so even if you don't, like, I'll vouch for you. So we don't want to repeat a ton of stuff about what we talked to Adam about, but what does being a part of the bowling team at St. Albert, what does that mean to you?
It kind of feels like family because, every day after school, right, we go to the bowling alley and I just see all the people that I love to hang out with and I love to talk to. And it just like genuinely feels as a team and we just are all together and we all have fun.
Awesome. What other activities are you involved in at St. Albert?
I do baseball, bowling, tennis, and football.
Are you like I've always wondered, is there like a tall person's club at St. Albert? I was never qualified to join, but you've got to be like one of the taller people at St. Albert.
Yeah, that's a good trait to have.
Do you guys have like a handshake or something?
No,
He
but
can't
like
tell you.
we
He can't tell you.
we just get stuff off high shelves.
Yeah, you're my next call the next time I can't reach something. Um,
Yeah.
so talk to us a little bit about this bowling season specifically. So last year you guys, you had a good run, but what's been kind of the secret sauce for you guys this year, and what do you expect in the coming weeks?
I expect great things in the next coming weeks. Obviously we fell short last year, but I think this year we have really good team chemistry. We all get along, we all have fun together, and we all just bowl good. And it kind of sucks about what happened last year, and I don't really want to do that again. I would rather win it this year.
I don't want to bring up bad memories, but so what happened with the team at state last year? Was it close? What?
It was close, and it's but some people will think that we choked, but I don't see it that way at all. We hit the pocket like we're supposed to. It
Hmm.
just didn't carry anything. Yeah, we bowled a bench against Comanche, a really good team, and they just carried, and we didn't. So I mean, they didn't bowl bad.
Hmm.
Well, no one here thinks you choked, Cole. So, at least there's about 10 of us that don't. No, we're proud of you guys regardless. What about bowling would you say helps you be a better student or helps you in your other activities that you're involved in?
It helps you just get along with other people and just talk with other people and just be out there, and and it just helps you. When you go up to the line and get ready to throw the ball, you have to focus where you want to throw the ball, and you just want to keep it consistent. You just want to focus in school, so it just keeps the mentally good.
I mean, and it is there's team aspects to it, but it's an individual sport. So you have to be on your P's and Q's. It's you throwing that ball down there. So individual sports, it always takes a lot of courage, and I respect the heck out of people that do individual sports like that. Um,
Yeah.
I do want to ask. So, what's the atmosphere at a tournament? Are parents there? Are there fans there?
Yes,
What's that look like?
there's quite a few parents, and it's just like if I could explain it with one word, I'd say electric. I mean, everybody gets into it.
Mm-hmm.
We're always loud. We always have fun. It's always good to see when other teams turn their head to look at you. Some people might feel embarrassed, but it just kind of fuels us to do better.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody just gets involved in what we do, and
Yeah,
it's just
well, just
exciting.
like Adam was saying, it's a lot more fun, and it's probably a lot louder when you're hitting strikes all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously you're just a junior, Cole, but so you've got a whole senior season ahead of you, but what are you looking to achieve in the last, call it 18 months of your St. Albert career?
Obviously to bring home a team state championship would be really nice, and to have have another good run next year, and just get better at all the other sports that I do as well.
For sure. And then, obviously it's a little early, but have you given much thought about what happens after St. Albert for you?
Yeah, I have, and I think it's going to be good next year because we're having Evan White come back, Bo Sweet come back, and I mean, our JV team can beat most other varsity teams out there, so we have good JV bowlers too, and we're just gonna have a good team next year.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting. So Cole, same question that I asked Adam. If and I anticipate that, unfortunately for you, or maybe fortunately, depends how you feel about it. You'll probably be talking to Jesse and myself. Hopefully a couple more times, or at least one more time before you graduate. But what's one thing that, if you could say one thing to the St. Albert community, what would it be?
Um, I guess just like thanks for always coming out and like supporting everything. I mean, everybody's just so involved. I mean, everybody just kind of like knows who you are, and like I feel bad. Like some people come up to me and tell me, "Good job, Cole." I'm just wish I kind of know their names, but they're so involved and they just know everybody, and they just come out and support everything that all of us do.
That's really cool, and I think that is something that makes St. Albert so special. So the next time like a random 5'3" guy walks up to you, says, "Hey Cole, I'm really proud of you," that's me. All right. That's Cole Pekny. Thank you, Cole.
Yeah,
We
thanks, Cole.
appreciate you pinch hitting
Thanks for
there,
having me.
and we hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so we're gonna slide over to the girls. Lexi and Bailey, are you guys there?
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. All right, so let's start with Bailey.
Thanks for sticking on.
Yeah,
You guys
yeah.
have been waiting a while, so thanks.
So let's start with Bailey. First of all, I don't wanna say your last name incorrectly. So can you tell me how to pronounce your last name?
It's just Secrest.
Secrest. Okay, so it's like Ryan Secrest. All right. So
Yeah.
I said it right at the intro, so that's less editing that we have to do. So Bailey, thanks for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Um, so this is my first year being at St. Albert. Um, I kind of came here because of Evan White's family, because they convinced me to come here and bowl, since I wasn't probably even planning to bowl high school season in the Nebraska area.
Where did you go to school before St. Albert, or where were you planning to attend school before St. Albert?
Um, probably for my probably where I was gonna probably attend for high school was most likely gonna be Bellevue East or West.
Okay, cool. So you're one of our Nebraska transplant families, of which there are over 50 students, and a lot of people don't know this. There are over 50 students from the Omaha Metro, the Nebraska side of things, that attend St. Albert in K through 12. So um, I think it's a surprisingly large number. Being relatively new to St. Albert, what are your impressions?
Um, when I first came to the school, I was quite nervous since I didn't really know anyone from there except for a few people on the team. But when I met like my small class, y- um, I thought these people are like people I can easily get along with, and it's not like people thinking you're above or below each other. Like it's like a whole family in the school.
And you recently set the school record for a high game. That's a 245. That was early January of 2023. What is your high score? Not just in high school competition, but just regular bowling. What's your high score?
My personal highest game right now is a 269.
269. That's
Nice.
incredible. That's incredible. What has the season been like for you? You know, Still kind of new at St. Albert and all of that, but what's the season been like for you, both individually and as a team?
With the team and stuff, like I felt like it was gonna be I knew this was gonna be a whole new experience for me. But when at my first meet, my legs were probably completely shaking. But when I started to bowl, I felt comfortable now, knowing that I had the team right behind me and that we had each other to support.
Hmm.
And I'm just curious, how much do you bowl when it's not bowling season? Like, how do you prepare for bowling season?
Um, I usually bowl like a couple of leagues and stuff during like the off season and during the season. Like right now I'm bowling two leagues right now, which are Monday night and Saturday morning. And then during the summer I'll bowl some leagues as well. And then like I think like mid-July I'll be up like somewhere in another state at a tournament known as Junior Gold.
Okay, where's that at?
Uh, it's usually just something made by the USBC board or USBC, and it's just like a whole like kind of like a national tournament for the youth and stuff, which they can qualify for through like other tournaments. And like this year is supposed to be up in Indiana, I think back in Indianapolis again.
Oh, cool. Have you ever been to Indianapolis?
Yes, like I think about 2 years ago. Um, like last year we were in Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and
Okay.
then the year before it was Indianapolis.
And I would say to the audience, if you haven't been to Indianapolis, it's a very underrated city. A lot of fun. I don't know what their bowling lanes are like, but it's a lot of fun, and I would highly recommend it. So, are you involved in anything else at St. Albert, sports or activity wise?
Not currently, but I think I'm planning this year to do track and field.
Great, great. Um, what so we talked a little bit about what you like about St. Albert and the family atmosphere. What are you hoping to achieve as the season goes on? Um, individually and as a team.
Um, well, obviously, we kind of already achieved one of our goals, which was winning the city tournament, which I was very excited about. And then I'm hoping that we can all make it to state for team, and maybe all of us girls make it into the singles.
And then you're in band as well, correct?
Yes.
What instrument do you play?
I usually play percussion as well as electric bass.
Cool. The band. So if you haven't listened to Jesse and I announce basketball games, which I completely understand if you haven't, we are huge fans of the band.
Yeah, you guys get shout outs every game.
It's exciting.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I love
I'm
it.
actually on their rock band.
oh yes,
Nice.
we're big fans.
I don't know who's involved in it, but I love the Christmas music.
Oh,
So like
jeez.
even when you guys break out that Christmas music well after Christmas, I still love it. So
He's really angling hard for the Christmas music year
So
round.
keep that coming.
So a little bit about and Bailey, you seem very modest, and I think that's remarkable. But just so that our listeners know, you are ranked sixth in the state right now and second in the Hawk 10. Does that make you feel, knowing those things, does that make you feel pressure, or because of the success of the team, does it kind of help to spread that out a little bit?
Um, Being as like my freshman year and already making it into the top 10 and everything, I think it does apply some pressure because there's probably going to be some people who may have like difficulty like not wanting me to be up there and stuff and wanting me to take me down from that. But I think because of my team, I'm able to get rid of all that pressure and be able to stay relaxed and continue bowling.
That's awesome. Yeah. The team aspect of it, I mean it fascinates me because it is, the individual sport, but you do have the team aspect. But it sounds like you guys got a really good core, really good, like, I don't know, in football you call it a good locker room. Like it just sounds like it's like more of like a group of friends and a team. So I love hearing that.
Well, Bailey, since you're just a freshman, kind of the same thing that I said to Cole. You'll probably be hopefully talking to Jesse and myself as things go on. But just know that we're rooting for you. I hope that you don't feel too much pressure, and no matter what you do, we know you'll make us proud.
Thank you.
All right, Lexi, that brings you up.
Oh boy.
First of all, how does it feel to be on that side of the microphone for once?
Very weird, actually. Not used to this.
See, it's fun to talk to me and Jesse, isn't it?
I don't know if I'd say fun, but
Oh, well,
Tolerable at least.
yes,
Okay.
tolerable.
All right. I'll take that.
So, just quick background. Lexi is the producer of our live broadcasts as well as the podcast. And, she's kind of like our kind of person in the school to help us coordinate a lot of these things.
Yeah, she did all the coordination tonight. So.
Yes. So, I say it every time that we're on the broadcast, and I would not be doing my job if I didn't acknowledge the fact that without Lexi, literally none of this happens. So, and she won't admit that. So, Lexi, you're ranked 18th in the state and 5th in the Hawk 10 as a junior and not someone that's really new to bowling. Talk to us about how you've improved.
School record holder for high series.
How about what is that score, Jesse?
428.
428.
Recently done.
So how have you worked to improve?
Well, I actually didn't bowl before freshman year, so this is still like very new to me. There actually wasn't a full girls team my freshman year, so Mike kind of recruited a few of us and was like, hey, like, we need more girls to bowl. We don't even have a team right now. Can you guys come bowl? And I think it was originally, I know, me and Georgie and Sophie, and then Olivia Gardner joined her sophomore year. And now, I mean, we have a full girls team, and we, I think, are ranked 5th or 6th at the team overall in the state right now. So it's just crazy to see.
That's
like,
awesome.
Literally half the team has never bowled before their freshman or sophomore year, and looking where we are at now.
What's that recruiting process look like? Are you just like hitting everybody up, or what's that look like?
I think just girls are like, oh, I do another sport with her. Like, maybe I should do bowling. I mean, I play softball with her. Oh, that might be kind of fun. Like, I don't really do anything else after school during the winter.
And then once they show up, they're hooked. Is that kind of the trend you'd see?
I mean, the atmosphere at practices and stuff is just so exciting. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to be there.
Right.
So how often do you bowl when you're not in season?
Freshman and sophomore year, I did not at all, and I didn't really allow.
Did you tell coaches that you were bowling in the off season? Is this new to them?
I'm pretty sure they're aware that none of us were bowling off season on the girls team. But
How many times did we ask you?
Oh, seriously.
She forgot you guys were on.
We begged them to bowl.
So, Lexi, that was not a trap question. I promise you that was not a trap question.
It was definitely a trap question.
No, like
No,
this was something we talked about before. Is like do you guys bowl for fun? I'm sure you do in the off season.
Now we do.
Yeah.
This used to not be something where we were like, oh, let's go bowl on a Saturday night. Like, let's go cosmic bowling. Like, we used to not do that.
So is that like your off-season conditioning, like cosmic bowling?
Yeah.
Okay. That like I'm genuinely curious. I asked my wife before we started recording that, and I was like, if you had a question for the bowling team, what would it be? And she's like, what is the off-season?
Do you know how hard it is to bowl at cosmic bowling with the lights off with no lines? I mean, that's difficult.
That makes tournament play seem like cake, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a cakewalk. Like, oh my God, I can see my line where I'm throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants to be good at bowling, be good at moonlight bowling.
Lexi, talk to us a little bit about what else you're involved in at St. Albert, and it is getting late in the evening, so try not to take the next 2 hours if you can.
You can't cut her off.
Well, I guess other sports, softball, golf, and tennis. And then I do the digital media club. I'm on the speech team, and then I'm the co-editor of the yearbook again this year.
And NHS?
NHS, yep.
Yeah.
NHS and student. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought there was a little bit more to it. And then you have I think you've got a couple jobs, and then you have an unpaid job of trying to keep Jesse and I straight on this thing too. So how, with all of that going on, how do you find time to be a kid?
I don't think it's really that. I mean, it's a lot, but it's not terrible.
And it sounds like you enjoy what you're doing, right? It's not like it's
and
like
honestly,
a burden.
Like being involved in all of these activities at St. Albert, like, they're my friends. Like, when I'm going to bowling after school, I'm going to hang out with my friends. Like, and that's the same for all of my activities. It's like,
it's not a chore.
I get I would not doing the sport or the activity.
Right. So I guess, what do you hope to achieve the rest of the way this season?
Hopefully get another girls state qualifier banner in that gym.
There we go.
And that'd be crazy if we could make a pretty far postseason run.
So, again, I think I've thoroughly admitted I'm not very well versed in bowling. What does a qualifier look like?
Oh boy. They actually changed the format last year from what it used to be, but regularly in a regular meet, it's 2 regular individual games per person. And then you take a short little break, and then directly after is 5 Baker games.
And
the
explain
2
what a
regular.
Baker game is real quick, sorry.
So there's 10 frames in a bowling game, and basically 5 people bowl one game together to add up for one score, and you do that 5 times.
Okay, and then in the qualifier,
So in the qualifier, it's way more than what we do in a regular meet. It's 2 separate things. First, they have us do 15 Baker games, which takes a while, and that's why the meet starts so early in the day.
15
and then
Baker games. Wow.
15, yeah, it's a lot. And during all of that, they actually, this year, they changed it from last year. We have to rotate lanes. So, for
really?
example, we might start on lanes 1 and 2, but then we'll have to move a pair, every 5 games or whatever it is. I don't really know what it is, but so that's something new this year as well. They don't want you to sit on the same lane for all 15 games. They're going to make us rotate this year.
that's very intense. So the Hawk 10 championship is February 10th. The qualifier is February 13th. And then you still have there are events February 3rd and 7th. But how do you I mean there's an element of conditioning to this as well. So how do you prevent yourself from just getting worn out or tired?
That's actually funny you say that. One-handed bowling, especially compared to two-handed bowling, there's a lot more I guess, pressure on your hand holding the ball one-handed. So a few of us on the team are actually having thumb problems right now where our hands are ripping over. I know Georgie and I are both having the same problem, but it's crazy that bowling that many games actually does do wear and tear. So we just have to be really careful and take care of our hands bowling this many games coming up before the qualifier.
And build those calluses.
Yes, it's a real thing.
Oh, and I believe it. And so you're also a pitcher on the softball team.
Yep.
Not exactly the same motion, but kind of similar. Does that help you as a bowler?
You will catch Coach Klusman yelling at me so many times in a meet. He'll look at me and he'll be like, "You're pitching again. You're pitching again. You need to be in bowling mode. Get your head in bowling mode." Because it's crazy how all the motions are so similar.
And does Coach Daly ever say, "Hey, Lexi, you're bowling again. We're here to pitch"?
No, but probably a good thing.
She might now. I'm gonna push her to do that. So, I hope to get you to engage in our conversations more and more now that we've kind of broken the ice here tonight. But if you could say one thing about your experience at St. Albert, or one thing that you could say to the St. Albert community, what would it be?
I would just thank everyone for the support, whether it's in person or I'm getting a newspaper clipping of myself in the mail or a text after the meet, or that I just see comments on the YouTube broadcast or on social media afterwards. I just think people really don't understand sometimes how close the community actually is. And I think going off of what Cole said earlier, you might not even know who that person is, but they know who you are and they're following you throughout the year. And I just think that's so special, knowing how much support that the community really gives the students.
That's great. That's great. Well, obviously we're rooting for you throughout this year and obviously in future endeavors. You guys as a whole team, you guys make us proud. And, to highlight a little bit about what the girls team, what they've done this year. So there are 3 girls actually ranked in the top 50 in Class 1A. It's Bailey, yourself at 18, and then Georgie Bonet at 44. And in the Hawk 10, the same 3 are ranked. Bailey second, you're 5th, and Georgie's 14th. So one could assume that that's going to position the St. Albert ladies bowling team very well in the Hawk 10 championships coming up on February 10th. Is that
Yeah.
is that a fair assumption?
I mean, yeah, I mean, to say that we would be competing in the city tournament a few years ago, to say that we would be competing in the Hawk 10 tournament, to be going after it and to want to win it this year. And then to say that, like, we have such a good shot at qualifying for state this year is just, it's crazy looking back, how much this team has grown.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, your freshman year there wasn't even a full team, or that
No.
was the first full team.
That Mike recruited us, so we had a full team.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Incredible
That's
growth.
very impressive rise, I would say.
And actually really quick.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's a school night. We don't want to keep you long. So thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate everything that you do, not only on bowling, but here on the Hill podcast and our broadcast. So thanks and best of luck to you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So we are going to close with the two coaches, and we're going to do a very brief recap of the season, a little bit of a look ahead, and then we'll have a couple of questions to ask them. But I want to start out with Coach Pekny. I feel like you were holding out with us a little bit.
What do you mean?
Well, so the research department here at the On the Hill broadcast has unearthed the fact that perhaps not only did you beat Coach Klusman in the alumni bowling tournament, but you were a little bit of a ringer. Would it be fair to call you that?
Oh, yeah, I suppose. I actually bowled in college.
Yeah, that's what he was getting at. There you
Okay,
go.
yeah. So, the research department here is very well staffed. And they did unearth that. So talk to us a little bit about where you bowled.
It consists of Alexis Narmi.
Yeah. Thanks, Alexis.
So, and she's very well compensated. But talk to us about bowling in college. Where did you bowl, and how did you get involved in that?
Yeah, so so obviously I graduated from St. Albert, and back then Coach Meschling wasn't the coach, so we didn't have anything at St. Albert. So I bowled up at Thunder Bowl, and then I was pretty good. I just did leagues, and then when I ended up going to school, I graduated from UNO, but for my final 2 years, my junior and senior year, I bowled over there. I just got a hold of the coach. They had just started her. Her name was Judy Dye, and they had just started the program. It's a club program at the time. I think it's actually sanctioned now, but it was a lot of fun. We traveled to some different tournaments. I remember we went to Atlanta, Georgia once and bowled against like the University of Florida and Georgia Tech and Tennessee and some of those Southeastern conference schools, which was really fun. And then obviously we bowled here around this area and bowled against the University of Nebraska Lincoln, which was they had some really good bowlers too. So it was a lot of fun. Back then we didn't have bakers or anything like that. It was all individual games, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So Mike, I wouldn't feel too bad about losing to him now after hearing that. I mean, that's very impressive, and I appreciate you sharing that experience with us. It sounds fascinating, actually. To recap this season, you guys are off to really of a heck of a season. You have 4 boys ranked in the top 10 in the Class 1A boys rankings. Those same 4 are ranked 1 through 4 in the Hawk 10. You've got Evan White at 3rd in the state, Adam Denny at 5th, Jackson Wigington at 6th, and Cole Pekny at 8th. And, then we already kind of recapped what the girls are ranked. But how do you guys manage expectations with young people, especially with those kinds of projections or expectations, I guess, if you will?
Honestly, at the end of the day, it's just bowling. There's really no pressure. It's not like we're performing. This is going to be totally off the cuff, but we're not performing brain surgery. No one's going to die, right? So I just try to get me and Justin just try to get the kids in a relaxed state of mind where at the end of the day, you just do your best and whatever happens, happens, right? And the kids had bought in, and they fell in love with the game, and they work really hard, and their success is showing. And it's a simple sport, but it still provides all the excitement that every other sport has. It comes down to the game-winning field goal, the game-winning free throw, the game-winning 10th frame. And at the end of the day, these kids have done everything I've asked of them, and I couldn't be more proud to be their coach. Um, it's an amazing experience. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have Coach Pekny. He's an amazing assistant, and it just goes to show you, if you have a good system and a good program, you can produce winners. So,
And I think it's fair to say that this thing's really taken off like a rocket ship in the last couple of years.
It has, and we have a lot of competitors, and competition breeds competition. And every single one of our boys and every single one of our girls compete against each other, and they don't want to lose. And at the end of the day, that's ultimately what builds a great team, is when you want to be better than the person on your team. And when you become a team champion when you can put that all together. Now, can we do that? Only time will tell. We're headed in the right direction. I like our chances. I love our kids. I love my assistant coach. I got no complaints, man. Life is good.
Good. Oh, that's
like
great
that.
to hear.
Like, keeping it in perspective. Like it's at the end of the day, like you said, it's bowling, and you're gonna go home and see your family at the end of the day, no matter what happens. So keeping the perspective, I like that. I like that.
So some key dates for the listeners. February 10th is the Hawk 10 tournament for both the boys and the girls. The girls qualifier for state is on the 13th of February, the boys on the 14th, and then state is February 20th through the 22nd. So, of course, all the St. Albert sports fan social media, the website, we'll be talking about it as well. But the Twitter page, both for the St. Albert bowling team and for St. Albert sports fan, will bring you a lot of the information. One of the things that I thought was interesting last week as I was following along was that the scores are updated in very, very almost real time. And so it's very easy to follow. So I'm looking forward to learning more about that. So being the first two coaches to join us on this podcast, we have not run this past anybody. Jesse and I are really the only ones that know these questions. We hope to. So I listen to a podcast called Ruthless, and it's a must listen thing for me. It's more political in nature, and that's not important. But they ask 3 questions at the end of every podcast of all of their guests. And so we have a couple of questions that we'd like to ask both of you, and we'll kind of rotate it a little bit so that the listeners at home can hear it. But we're going to start off with the first one, and I'll start with you, Justin. What's your last meal on earth?
It's gotta be a ribeye, medium rare with baked potato, green beans, and a mug of Coors Light.
Who cooks the steak? Who cooks that steak? You?
I cook the steak.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
I like it.
All right.
Mike?
It would be Maria's Pizza in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but unfortunately they closed. My heart is broken, so I'm still searching for my last favorite meal. I got to be honest with you, and according to Justin's cook menu, maybe it might be Justin cooking me a ribeye.
I'm interested now.
What's the? You say Maria's? Is that what you said?
Maria's Pizza. It was me and my dad went there. Ironically, after bowling and all that, and it was just an iconic pizza place in Wisconsin, and they closed.
Really?
They ended. COVID killed them.
Really? COVID casualty. Are you like a straight cheese guy with the pizza, or is there a special?
It's got to be the perfect blend. It has to be the crust and the sauce and the cheese and the ingredients have to be the perfect size. It can't be too much cheese, too much sauce, too big of crust. It just.
And they had Maria's had the combo that you're looking for.
I begged her. I literally begged her I said, please, Bonnie, please give me the recipe because I want to take that back to Council Bluffs and open up my own restaurant. But she would never get it to me. She said it's a family restaurant, and it's gone.
That's a
Sad.
bummer.
That's too bad.
Follow-up
really is.
question, Justin. What do you season your steak with?
I like just like butter, like sauce butter on there. Otherwise, no sauce.
I love it. All right.
Yeah.
Question number 2. Mike, we're going to start with you. What motivates you more, the thrill of victory or the agony of defeat? And a quick breakdown is that, the thrill of the victory is the high that you get when you've reached the peak of the summit. Or the agony of defeat is kind of like Michael Jordan, right? The thought of failure is what pushes you to ensure that it never happens again.
That's a great question because defeat teaches you everything. And if you get defeated and you don't learn from it, you don't learn life. And so although it sucks losing, like we lost last year's bowling and lost in baseball, but eventually, we overcame that. We won a state championship in baseball, and God willing, we'll win a state championship in bowling. And you can only learn that from defeat. It humbles you. It keeps you real. It keeps you hungry. And so losing isn't the end of the world. It just depends on how you look at it. It's a matter of perspective. And so you just got to grow from defeats.
For sure.
Great. Justin?
Yeah, I know that's a good question. I like that documentary where, Jordan was, that's how he was really motivated. But, I losing sucks, but I really do like winning. So I'd have to say that I like winning better than, the agony of defeat. So
I love the honesty.
So,
and
yeah.
and I think that's what's the crazy thing is. And honestly, I hope you guys don't take this the wrong way. But the program of which you two are building at St. Albert, they could turn into like the Michael Jordan type people of bowling to where they have achieved so much success. They've got to wait for that person to look at them the wrong way as they walk out of the bathroom to be like,
just to get motivated.
Yeah. Like they can find disrespect in anything.
Yeah.
That's like the kids at Georgia saying like, oh, no one thought we could do this. And it's like, wait a second, you guys are ranked number 3 at the beginning of the season. Everyone thought you were going to do this. That could be you guys. I'm not trying to put that pressure on you.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for me, I mean, you didn't ask me the question, but it's just hearing them talk just kind of gets me going. Like, I'm the latter. Like when I win, it's just more of like just a relief.
Yeah.
Because I cannot picture the guy next to me being better than me at the thing we're competing against. So when I win, it's just like, okay, good, that's done. That's my answer to that. No one asked me though, But
that's a great point. It's what we always teach the kids. Like when we first started coaching, our kids were spectating other teams. So you're watching other teams and go, oh my God, they're really good. But now we are being spectated.
Mm-hmm.
And I told the kids, no matter what, when you're being spectated, you're doing something special. And that's obviously, Justin, you're right. There's nothing better than winning. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that feeling you can't replace that with anything. However, to be humble, if you lose, you got to figure out why you lost and go back to the drawing board, figure out how to feel to win because there's nothing better than winning.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Okay, final question, and then we're going to cut you two loose for the night. Starting with Justin, what is your favorite memory of your time at St. Albert? And that could be as a student, that could be as a parent, that could be as a coach. No restrictions on this.
Yeah, obviously being a student there and graduated was great, but I think probably one of my best ones was probably last year with both my kids on the bowling team and making it all the way as far as we did. That was really special. And then both of them playing tennis on the same team was pretty special. Which that always hold a place in my heart, especially when they played doubles for the first time. And I got interesting, but just seeing them both compete at the same time, it's only going to happen, just happen once, and that'll hold a special place in my heart.
That's cool.
That's a great answer. All right, Mike, what about you? What's your favorite memory of St. Albert?
That's, I mean, that's really, really tough because I've had three kids graduate from there. So Haley in her dancing was three-time state champion and judge's choice in dancing, and Michaela in soccer, and just, oh my goodness, Brett state championship in baseball. Coaching kids. I love coaching kids. I love the kids at St. Albert's. I love the parents at St. Albert's. That makes it really easy to coach. It's just God's path, and I'm just extremely blessed and thankful for being a part of St. Albert's and winning and being successful. So
Well, and you guys
that's my greatest moment.
you guys have contributed so much, and so as an alumni, a supporter, a parent, thank you both for everything that you guys do. There's a lot of time, obviously, and that's what I was really hoping to get through this conversation was that everyone understood, like, you don't just show up and bowl in these events. A lot of time away from your families, and so you probably don't get thanked enough. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
For the amount of effort that you invest in these kids and in the school and in your other endeavors. So we really appreciate it. And I would be remiss if I didn't point out the fact you guys had an individual state champion last year, right?
We did.
Yeah. So
We did.
And obviously Evan couldn't make it tonight, and so we didn't get to talk about that much, but we'll get him back on the podcast and revisit that and get a kind of a first person view of what that looked like for him. But I again, not to put any undue pressure on you guys, but you guys have just done an excellent job of working with these young people, and I couldn't agree with you guys more. What makes St. Albert so special? It's the students, right? And so the amount of work and effort that they put into it. But thank you guys. If there's not anything else, we appreciate you guys taking the time out of your night. This ran a little bit longer than what we wanted to.
There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk about. So we don't need to apologize.
You know what there is,
yeah. Go ahead.
It's really special. St. Albert's is really special, and Evan White, being from Missouri Valley, him coming to the bowling program, I mean, it was one of the first steps that accelerated us because he's such a good kid and a great bowler, and his parents. And you heard Bailey say that, it was because of Evan White's parents.
Mm-hmm.
It's that family atmosphere, and that's what you get at St. Albert's. And for people who don't understand, and hopefully they'll look at this and go, if I want my kids to succeed in life, not just bowling or golf or baseball or whatever, bowling, the game of life, you can learn at St. Albert's and you'll be successful. So
yeah, you're going to surround yourself by awesome people at St. Albert's. I mean, that's pretty much the
amen.
Yeah.
Do you want to be the school spokesman? I don't have the authority to hire you, but I don't know that there's a better pitch than what you just gave.
Right.
Thanks, man.
All right. Well, thank
you
you both. Really appreciate the time that you guys took out of your evenings tonight, and we really appreciate it. And we can't wait to see what you guys do next.
Yeah, I look forward to talking to you guys again soon.
Hey, thank you so much. Hopefully we'll be state champions at the end of this.
Let's go.
God willing. Thank you, guys.
God willing. Amen.
Thank you.
Later.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to that interview. We hope that you enjoyed it as much as we did.
You sound so radio guy. Leave it. You sound so radio guy there. Later this week, we're going to be sitting down with the Lear brothers, the wrestling coaches. We're looking forward to talking to them. I think it'll be as good as an interview as we did with the bowling team. That pod will be dropping February 21st, Chad?
I think, we'll try to fit the bowling or the wrestling guys in. We'll just release that without a preview look ahead type of deal.
Okay.
And then we'll drop the next podcast. It'll be 2 weeks from today, which will be February 21st. A lot's going to happen between now and then. Both the boys and the girls will be in action. We'll have state wrestling recap. We'll start talking a little bit about spring look ahead.
Yep.
And if we can get conversations in with the girls team or the boys basketball team, we definitely will.
Depending on scheduling,
yeah.
Those basketball, the basketball interviews, they might be like a wrap up from the season and a look forward to next season. if we don't get to talk to them before their season ends. So
hopefully we can.
Yeah.
But we fully respect, and this will not be a distraction to the team as they prepare for their postseason run. These young kids have been working all season towards these goals, and we're not going to wedge in the middle of that trying to figure out how we can ask them questions about how they feel and what they think is going to happen next. So if we can fit it in, great. If
Yeah.
we can't, we'll do a look ahead like Jesse said, and we'll start to turn our focus to spring sports. And since we're not kind of jumping in at the middle or the end of the season, we'll pace those out a little bit.
Yeah.
So that hopefully we're not handing you hour and a half podcast episodes.
Well, I mean, that might happen, but we won't be playing catch up anymore. It'll be not that what we've done so far isn't relevant, but it'll be a little more relevant. We'll be building up, a little bit instead of like we did. We started in the middle of a few sports. So,
and we are looking at what we will broadcast next. I think if I would have talked to you in October, we never would have imagined that we would have called as many girls games as we ended up doing. Or basketball games, excuse me.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe some soccer.
Yeah, I would do. Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I really don't know anything about soccer. I watch way too much soccer not to have a clue what's going on.
I'm sure you could find something to say for an hour and hour and a half.
No doubt. We will probably do some baseball.
Yeah, I would like to do some baseball and softball.
Softball too. Coach Daly made it pretty clear to both of us that she
Yes.
would expect us to be announcing softball games at some point.
Yes.
Of which I said absolutely we will. We just got to figure out how to run the equipment.
Yeah.
We're getting better though, a little by little. Hope that you enjoyed this podcast episode, and we'll be talking to you soon. So thank you for listening. Thank you for patronizing our sponsors, and we'll be in touch soon. St. Albert the Great.
Pray for us.